Hi, happy Vlogmas day one. It's the end of the night. It's currently 8:46 p.m. I'm just making some bracelets because I have two upcoming markets. One is one that I'm doing with my brand, Sugar Roses Co. The other one is my best friend's brand, and we both help each other out because there's nothing quite like sisterhood and friendship. So we have one on Sunday that is Once Upon a Magic Market's How the Grinch not the How the Grinch, How the Market Stole Christmas. As you can see, it's Grinch themed. The outfit I wore today for school will definitely be getting repeated on Sunday because it's very Whoville. Hence the makeup. We had an undercover teacher dress up day. You don't know what my outfit looked like. There are plenty of videos of me making it, showing it, whatever. And then I originally was going to have the Pop Market, which was a Happiest Market spinoff, but the host said that there just really wasn't enough engagement in numbers, and she didn't really want all of the hard work we were putting in to go to waste for a market that just didn't get the promises of turnout we were, which I love the full transparency. I love the open and honesty. I think that is the best way, and honestly makes me respect her even more than I already did. Like, she's just a girl boss. But at the same time, my best friend Casey, her business is Core Memory Designs. She got off the wait list for Kingdom Creations. We've done Kingdom Creations before. We did their first one all the way back in July. And then we did August. We did not do September because her brother got married. October, we both got rejected from because we both applied with both of our brands. And then November, we were back. And then for December, my brand got rejected, which I'll be fair, my Sugar Rose Co. is not really the most Kingdom Creations friendly. I am working on a second brand, which I will be talking about in a moment, and I'm super excited for that one. But she got off the wait list. She got an email about today. And it was just like one of those, like, sometimes patience and waiting is the key. Okay, this is the bracelet I was making. This is what would Jesus do? It's just little pearls and gold. I think it's cute. But I want to talk about things as I do it. So today was a really good day. It obviously is a Monday. It's the first of the month. I have this thing that, like, if a Monday falls, not a Monday, if the first of the month falls on a Sunday or a Monday, it feels like just a refresh, a perfect chance to start again, to, like, forget anything that had happened in the past or whatever. Or even if we sometimes have goals that are just not where we want them. I'm a big component of myself. I am a perfectionist, and when things are not the way I want to be, I definitely feel like that need for control, but part of it is you sometimes have to give up control in your walk with faith, which I will say that is one thing this year in 2026 I think is, I'm not sure the order. I probably will finalize them later, but each day I'm going to kind of talk about something that happened this year, whether good, bad, ugly, sad, happy, whatever. We're just going to talk about this year in review as we do our Vlogmas. And we'll sit here and craft because I'm also on a challenge to use up every craft supply that I have. I have a lot of craft supplies that I have bought over the past couple of years. And it's just been sitting there, and I feel like it's time to use it. Obviously the one thing I do rebuy though is letter beads, because any girlies who make bracelets, you just run out of the vowels like no other. Like, if a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby, I would say Joann's, but RIP, any craft store, if you came out with a vowel pack, like, it would be an instant bestseller. Because, like, I don't need 75 million Q's, but I do need 75 million E's. But one of the biggest things this year was I got back on my walk of faith, my journey with Jesus, just that. And thank you, Kona, for stepping on my esophagus again. She does this. No, okay. She does this when she can't quite find a spot where she's comfortable at. I'm noticing that I got barbecue sauce there. Perfect. So maybe in about September-ish, so I will kind of do, like, a rundown of my past, like, faith journeys. So obviously baptized as a little Smurfy. And then I grew up going to vacation Bible school, doing Sunday school, My mom was in the children's wing at church. My dad was the official baptism photographer for a while for Northland. That is one of the bigger churches here in Orlando. So I would say probably between like 2008 to, my guess is going to be 2014. If you got baptized at Northland, my dad probably took your picture. And then I also grew up going to a Christian dance studio. When I first joined, it was Joy Christian Arts Academy, and then it later became Joy Performing Arts Academy, and then it just became Joy Performing Arts. I grew up there from age 6 to 17. Yeah, that sounds about right. I met some really great friends there over the year. Had some very interesting experiences, we'll say there. And I'll say in my teen years there, some of the things that were happening definitely kind of pushed my journey with like walk of faith. And I'll say it's mainly like there was a sermon a couple weeks about this at Action, which is the church I currently call home. I'm talking a lot. This is already 6 minutes. I might have to do multiple parts. It was the church doesn't hurt you. You are hurt by whoever. And it was like, give the person a name. Don't say the church hurt you. And that's something I kind of wish teenage me heard, because I definitely stopped going to church for quite a few years. And then in college, I regained a little bit of it. I would go to church at Action at their Winter Springs location. They used to have a service out of Winter Springs High School. And then I think probably COVID-ish is probably when that location closed down. But they're going to be bringing back a Winter Springs location next year. And that just feels like so exciting in a full circle. If I cry, I think I'm nearing girly pop things. Because my anxiety also has been through the roof the last 24 hours. And that usually happens alongside that. If you're a girly who feels that, we're in this together. So if I cry, it's just me. I'm a naturally emotionally person kind of thing. And so then in college, I was part of a Christian women's ministry called Delight. I was in it for 3 years, my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. My end of sophomore and all of junior year, I became on the lead team. I was the events planner and then events planner and finance manager, which meant I just took the sales for the devotionals, which I do have on a shelf behind me. You can kind of see it, this pink shelf here. It is all my devotionals from Delight. Maybe we'll go back into them and we'll do a little readings of them here. But I would, after the physical location stopped, I started kind of watching online. And then, you know, when you're not in person, it kind of divots. And every once in a while, I would like go back on and like watch an online service. And I was just like, it's not the same. And then I will admit, I just kind of was like, for a bit, I was like, I want to get back to the church. I don't know when. I don't know what it was. And then I think in about September, my boyfriend, Devin, I love him to pieces, was like, I want to go back to church. And I was like, well, there's Action. I'm like, they're a big church around here. I know they're really good. I'm like, I think you would like them. And so we started going back, and it's just been amazing. I love it. It's one of those things that when you're there, it's just like you feel this like sense of peace and this sense of calm. And it's definitely something that I was like missing for so long. And it's funny, this is probably the last thing I'm going to say in part one. It was funny, yesterday, I am very klutzy. I rolled my ankle as I was walking out to put trash out in the dumpster. And it definitely hurt, so I quickly went to go get a little like sock like compression thing for it from Target, and it helped just pose it a little bit because it definitely hurt to walk on it. But it of course was the ankle I have injured many of times. And then I was sitting there like just resting, and I was like, okay, do I go to the night service? Do I not? Because my boyfriend was working. And I was like, God, if you're listening, I was like, give me a sign I'm supposed to go. And I kid you not, 2 videos later on my For You page was a video that said, what was your sermon today? And I was like, got it, I'm going. So we're going to catch up in part 2. You know, sometimes we ask for a sign and it's literally right in front of us. Like yesterday, I was sitting here like crafting on my floor, making my outfit that I wore for today for teaching. I have many other Vlogmas videos that you can go watch where I literally looked like a Christmas tree today. And I wore red lipstick and green eyeshadow because why not kick off December 1st being very festive? It's definitely very faded. It was the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. I know it's a red bottle with a Spider-Man on it. It was from when they did a Marvel collab. So the fact that there's still some remnants, and I put that on at like 6:30 in the morning, kind of impressive. But yesterday was, as I was crafting, I was kind of in like a wishy-washy state of, do I go to church tonight? Do I not? Kind of thing. And I will say I've been starting to get back on my church journey. That was one thing I got back on this year with my boyfriend. He was kind of the leader of this. He was like, I want to go back to church. And I remember the first time he said it, I kind of talked about some churches in the area. And I was like, but the big one I mentioned was Action. So that was a church that I knew. I had been a couple of times before during like my college years. I went to their old Winter Springs location, which was out of Winter Springs High School. I don't think that location like survived post-COVID era. But then they're actually opening up a new Winter Springs location next year. And it feels very full circle moment. And so then maybe in September, he was like, okay, let's go tomorrow. And I was like, let's do it. So we went to an early service, which I will say the earlier in the day services are packed jam full. You definitely got to be there on time for if you want a good seat. And it felt like the thing. And so we made that like our little Sunday tradition. Obviously, we've had some Sundays where we just could not go, like when we were literally in Pittsburgh for my best friend's wedding. But other than that, we've pretty much gone there. Or if I've had a market on a Sunday, we kind of miss it, which I do kind of have to say I prefer when a market is on a Saturday so that I don't have to miss church. Like, it's gotten to that point and that makes me happy. But I was sitting here yesterday and I was like, do I go? Do I not? Like, I just don't know. I was like, I want to see the sermon, but I'm just like, it's such a far drive when I'm over here by myself. And I was just like, I don't know. And so then I was like, God, if you're listening, which he's always listening, I was like, give me a sign if I should go tonight. And I kid you not, I scroll on my For You page, 2 videos later, it's a video, someone that says I'm a TikTok friend with, which my TikTok, there's a lot of friends. I follow a lot of people. I'm a person who will like a video on the FYP once and I'm like, yes, I hit that plus sign. And it said, what was your church sermon about today? And I was like, I was sitting here on the tile floor before me and I was like, got it, we're getting ready, we're going. And so I went and I was super glad I went. I went with my boyfriend's best friend, who's also his roommate, because my boyfriend was working and I was like, hey, I decided last minute I'm going to church. Do you want to come along? And he said yes. And yesterday they did Lights, Camera, Action, Christmas edition. So they were talking about Home Alone. And it was really cute that they were joking about how they like made a Hallmark movie out of it, because how Lights, Camera, Action as a series works is they will take like, I say probably about like 5 to 8 minutes of a movie clip at a time, and then it'll cut back in to Pastor Justin, and he is talking about it, kind of relating it either to a part of scripture or just like a takeaway from it, and then it jumps back in and it kind of does this process. Obviously, it's not the whole movie, especially because for some movies that would be a very long service, but it very insightful. And so yesterday's was obviously Home Alone because of Christmas edition, and so they talked about like the part of like how sometimes you're like, I can do this on my own, and God is like, no, you can't. I'm here. Like just put your trust in me, put your faith in me. And like sometimes you're just like, okay, but like I want the control, or I'm scared of it. And that was the big thing of like, was saying how it was the scene between Kevin and the neighbor, and Kevin was talking about how he's afraid of the basement, and the neighbor was talking about how he's afraid of calling his son. And it's kind of like well, what if I do it and it's like not what I was hoping for? And then Kevin's like, well, then at least you get to stop worrying about it, which is so true. And it kind of makes me think of I love Tangled, so maybe this is why I really loved yesterday's one, and I was super glad I went. In Tangled, I love the boat scene kind of thing of like, where Rapunzel's like, what if it's everything, like, what if it's not everything I dreamed of? And Flynn is like, it will be. And then she's like, but what if it is, kind of thing? And he's like, well, that's the fun part. You get to find a new dream. And it kind of feels like that thing of like, okay, if you're afraid of it, like, yes, there's a what if I fall, but what if you fly? What if it goes wrong, but what if it goes right? And so I think there's this whole, like, we all are our worst enemy. And it's because we're listening to the enemy as we're hearing all these, like, negative thoughts of how you can't do it, or how if a season of your life you were not in the best, like, you can't let those seasons define you. And it really was a good sermon yesterday, and I was super glad I went. And so because of that, I'm just like super happy to be back on it. And I feel like I talked about it in part 1, but back here on this shelf here, I have my college devotionals, which were from a college women's ministry called Delight. I have not opened them since college. So, and that was like 2016 to 2020. I have not opened them since then. So I think it might be a fun little series to dive back into those. Each day we'll read a story, and maybe I'll read the questions out loud. If there's ones that I did, you're probably hearing me drop beads. I will get those in a moment. I'll do it. But besides that, I'll say day 1 of December really was a good day. It was the first day back with students after Thanksgiving break. I was super happy to see them. I had almost all of my students back today. So that was good to see. Obviously, had to work on routines and procedures. We did also get the new fun surprise of, I have a new smartboard. It's exciting. Now, I can say it's exciting, but first when I walked in, I was like a shock kind of thing, which honestly is there's probably some lesson to look into from this as well. But I literally walked into my partner teacher's room first, and I'm like, I see like the blue light of the board. I was like, oh my gosh, was this board left on all of break? Because we're always been told, like, turn off the screen, like turn off the screens on the board so the bulb doesn't die or whatever. And so I was like panicking. And then I was like, I looked at it for a moment. I was like, that's a different board kind of thing. And then I like look across the plan room to my room, and I see everything that I had in front that was like around my board, because the old ones were smaller. These ones are probably like maybe a good foot bigger than them. Old ones. And like, my stuff is moved, and which also I was thinking about something else that had happened in my room, which the little trap did get removed. Thankfully, nothing was found in it. We just had guests at one point who ate some snacks. But they're gone. Is that sorry. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta like rearrange everything. And then I look and I'm like, I also have a new board. And so I'm like, I put my stuff down and I quickly like walk through the whole pod. The teacher next door to me, like this way, not that way. She had already had a new one. She got a new one last year, so I didn't check hers. But I went through this way. That teacher had it. Then I looked at the next two. They both had it. And then I see my team leader's room has it. And then I go to the one other person who's there first. And I look and she has it. And I was like, so we got new boards? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. I was like, do we know how? I was like, this was the one day one person on our team was not there. I was like, I wish they were there. I'm like, she would have already figured it out by now. Because Shannon, if you're watching this, you are a tech genius of our group. And so, like, I'm a person who, if you give me technology for a bit, I can probably figure it out, but I'm not, like, a rapid learner of it. I can definitely figure it out, like, if you give me time to do it, and I'll, like, find out other little things. Like, the Google Suite is much more my forte. I did get Google level Google level 1 certified in college. And I knew all the stuff. And that was very fun. I think I got, like, a 98 on the test, but We're gonna need a part 3. I can talk a lot. I love when I accidentally hit post and I was trying to type a caption instead, and I don't even choose thumbnail. But you know what? Oh well, we're on part 3. So I was talking about the surprise new smart boards. They're very nice. It's very loud comparison to my old one, which I'm excited for. I do believe, though, my room is the reason why we all got new ones. So last year, one person on our team, she got the first one. She was like the guinea pig for it. And they're expensive. So finding room in the budget's always like a hard kind of thing. They found it. I do wonder if PTA helped or something. Because we had during the week before Thanksgiving, we had National Teach-In Day, and we, in my room, had the PTA presentation. And so my smart board for a bit, I had like last year put in a like work order for it, but they said like my overhead speaker did not work. And so they just said to like try to get the smart board to be as loud as it could. But my smart board had this like fun little glitch of like, for a bit, if you tried the volume up, if you clicked it more than 5 times, the little like volume up button, or you hold it down, it would turn itself off. So that was a fun adventure. Look at how weird this little bead is misformed. Like, and so I was like, okay, whatever, I can kind of make do with it. But then at one point it kind of did get stuck on the volume of like, it was as loud as it could go. But it was weird, like for our ELA curriculum and like anything on Google Slides or YouTube, it would be so loud and you'd be fine kind of thing. But anything else, just super quiet. And so when they were giving the presentation, like, does it go any louder? I was like, nope, that's as loud as it goes, unfortunately. And they're like, really? And I'm like, have you put it? I was like, yeah, I've put in a case. And they're like, well, because it's this part, it's kind of just whatever. And so the PTA people, I love our PTA. They're like, what if we get you like a Bluetooth speaker? And I was like, well, this laptop here isn't connected to that. They're 2 different things. I'm like, I don't even know if that thing can get Bluetooth. And they're like, ooh. I was like, and so they're like, and I was like, I don't know. And so now back from break and they surprised me with my smart boards. I'm like, I'm like, I do wonder if my room was the reason for that. Cause like mine was definitely the next glitchy one. Like I personally thought if like they were going to replace it, like I would have gotten one and then some of the other ones, but I guess they were like, let's just do them all. And once we got to go in a bean tail. It's a lucky bean. But so that was that, and then throughout the dates, I have to talk, or I'm gonna laugh, all kind of thing. I had one market, I had 2 markets scheduled for this month. Once Upon a Magic Market, How the Market Stole Christmas. That is this upcoming Sunday. And it's in Kissimmee. If you are local to Orlando, make sure to stop by and shop Sugared Roses Co. And then I have a lot of fun deals and little things I'm going to do on Sunday. And then on the 13th, my best friend Casey, she just got off the wait list for Kingdom Creations Market. We've done a lot of their markets. We did their June and July ones, which were outside at their old venue. And then I think September is when they moved it to a different one. We were not able to do September because her brother was getting married. October, neither of us got an acceptance one. November, we got back into it. And then it was crazy for December. I had heard back a no. We were seeing so many people hear back a yes on like line and all of our vendor friends, because that's the best part of being a small business owner doing markets, is getting to be friends with other shops. I will say one of the shops that we absolutely love, and they are the best people, is, I'm probably going to butcher how to pronounce it, but it's Windols, Windles Ice Cream. Make sure to follow them. They are amazing. They're like freezy pops, kind of like, those, everyone call them different things, but the popsicles that come in a tube, whatever you call them, they make their own versions of them, and they are so good. I had like the orange freeze one, I think it was, at the last market. So good. So worth your money. And they are just the kindest, sweetest people. They deserve all the success in the world. So if you're ever at a market and you see them, buy it. It's so good. And so we were like, this is so weird not hearing it. And then she had like emailed them. She hadn't even heard from the email. She sent a DM, hadn't heard a DM. And I was like, this is really weird. I'm like, it's making me feel like something didn't get submitted right, which clearly now God was just testing our patience. And was like, you asked for patience, I'm going to give it to you. Because they always say, when you pray for something, you first learn the skill before you get what the thing you want. So praying for patience, you're going to get your patience tested. And we're like, this is so weird. And so I'm like, them like to like not respond, like they're such whatever. And then today she literally got the thing that was off the wait list. I was like, OMG, let's do it. So we're doing that one now, which kind of came out the like the right timing of everything. And so it just is like, sometimes it's, I feel like I'm using this to myself. Sometimes it's like you learn the lessons through the thick of it, and then on the other side you're like, wow, I think it wasn't so bad. Obviously, I feel like we're all so quick to internalize things and be like, I have to fix it myself, I can't let anybody know. But I feel like if you have like that like one confident or like two people who are in your circle that you're like, these are the people who I trust with my honest and most vulnerable feelings and my most vulnerable states, like they're doing it. And I gotta say, I have a great circle around me. I love my best friend Casey. Love you, Casey. You are super supportive. You've been there for me through a lot. And my boyfriend Devin, I will also say, has been a great big supporter and has been there through quite a bit over this like last and almost a year and a half. January will be a year and a half. So kind of crazy that we're almost there. I'm like thinking back to this time like last year. It's crazy like the difference what a year can make. And so it's just one of those things of sometimes it's like, I know I'm a perfectionist. I'm a very type A person. Like things have to be done a certain way. Like I have routines, I have structures. I have little silly rituals that I do that just help me stay a little calm kind of thing. Or just help give me reassurance over silly little things. Casey knows this. Like, we will text each other Blueberry Unplugged, or we'll send each other a picture of our curling iron or flat iron unplugged so that we aren't somewhere to be like, oh my gosh, did I unplug that? No, it's unplugged because we took a picture of it. And it has a timestamp. But, like, things just like that. And I'm sure everyone has their own little quirks and stuff that they do. But I've learned from going back to church in this last... And I think the big thing I'm learning is like obedience, trust, giving it all to God, just letting go of worries, kind of thing. And I definitely think I also wonder if my little bit of the anxiety spell I had last night was the test of from God being like, okay, you think you can do it all on your own, but can you handle this? Can you handle all of this? And it's like, no, I cannot. I cannot handle it all on my own. And so I'm just sitting here making little bracelets that say, what would Jesus do on them over and over again? Because, sometimes you need to just say something over and over again. You need to see something over and over again, just until you do. Obviously, there's a saying, fake it until you make it. And so I'm kind of making these little bracelets. One, I'm going to sell them at the market. Two, I'm definitely going to make one for myself to wear, along with a couple other ones of just like some words that I want to focus on going into 2026. I definitely will be have like a goal vision board making night. One of my best friends, Des, and I, we are planning on making vision boards for next year. In 2024, I made a physical vision board, and I felt like for 2024, I made one. I feel like I got more stuff done having that physical one, because I literally, in my old bathroom in my childhood home, I had the 3 ones that I made right above the toilet, as funny as it was in my bathroom, as like little pieces of art. And so I saw them every day, and it was kind of a reminder of, these are my goals for this year. These are the things, what am I seeing? And then last year, for this year, I made like a wallpaper one, but like when an update went through, it took it off my wallpaper, and I'm like, I just never did it. And I even like made like a little bingo card for this year, because I know a lot of people were like, oh, what's on your 2025 bingo card? It was like a big trend. And I'll say how I did my bingo card did not really set myself a success for that. But I think for 2026, I'm going to make a physical one, and I'm going to put it right here in front of me above my desk, so I am reminded of all of my goals. And I'll talk about all of my goals and upcoming ones. But one of the biggest things from the last sermon that I went to was, what is the basement in your life? What is the thing you're biggest afraid of and what would go right if you actually did it. So I'm gonna leave you with that.